So 5.1, write linear equations in slope-intercept form. So this chapter will be some of writing in different forms, or like how to write in different forms and stuff. But this one starts with slope-intercept form, which remember is the one we've been using. Y equals mx plus b. So sometimes the problems will just tell you something like you have a slope is 8, and then it'll say y-intercept is -7. And so you literally just plug those numbers in. Okay, so you would just say y is equal to, slope is 8, so 8x, and then plus b, which is b is -7, so it would be -7. And that would be all you have to do to write that. So it's just plugging in with its sign that is given to you, and that's all you would have to do. Sometimes they'll give you a graph, and you need to find the y-intercept and then just count the slope. So we'll probably have you get your books out in a little bit, and we'll actually like walk through what that looks like. But you'll basically be finding the slope and the y-intercept yourself and then writing the line. And then sometimes it'll give you like values, and it'll say, or well, it'll give you like 2 points. You have to find the slope using the slope formula. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You have to find the slope and then use the point that is 0 and y, and that point is your y-intercept. So this is another method of what they could give you, where they give you 2 points to start with, and then you use that. Another one, they may give you something that looks like f of some number is equal to some number. So I'm just going to say f of x is equal to y, and then they'll give you, or here I'll do x1 and y1. F of x2 is equal to y2. And so then you use the points that you get from here, which would be x1, y1, and x2, y2. And then you do the same thing that we did up here. So they're just basically giving it a whole bunch of different ways that they give you the information to end up with the same thing of filling in this formula is all that we're doing. So if you're like, what in the world is she talking about? That's just a bunch of letters right now. Don't worry. When you see it with numbers, it'll make more sense. All right, so these say to write an equation of the line with a given slope and y-intercept. So these ones, like number 4, they say the slope is 1, y-intercept is 5. And I just need to write an equation in slope-intercept form. So it would be y equals mx, so slope is 1, so 1x plus b, which is plus 5. If you didn't write the 1, since it's understood to be there, that's fine as well. So you can have that, or you can have y equals x plus 5. Those both mean the same thing and would be acceptable answers for that. So if you had something like number 8, slope is 3 over 4, y-intercept is -6, what would my equation be?
3 over 4x minus 6.
Yep, 3/4x minus 6. So those ones, they give you everything you need. You just simply are plugging in. I'm going to come back to the graphing ones at the end, I think. And what I may do is just, well, we'll come back to those at the end. Or we may wait and look at the ones with the actual graphs tomorrow and just do all the ones that you actually have to do work for today. So the next one, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to skip because there's a bunch of the ones where they give you a graph and you have to find the y-intercept and the slope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to number 24, which is to write an equation of the line that passes through the given points. So this one gives you the points -3, 1, and 0, -8. So this is what I was talking about up here with this one. Okay, so this formula here, what you need, this is for numbers 24 through 29, basically. And then this one is for 30 through 38, in terms of what you need. Now, you're given 2 points. I only showed you the one, but you're given 2 points, which is how we find the slope. So M equals, so we do y2, so here I'm going to label these x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2, -8, minus y1 is 1, over x2 is 0, minus x1 is -3, so minus a negative is going to become plus. So -8 minus 1 is -9 over 0 plus 3 is 3. So this reduces to -3. So then that gave us our slope. I need the y-intercept now. Okay, so the y-intercept we get from the point that has a 0 for x and a number for y. Okay, so you have to find the one that x is 0. So my y-intercept is going to be -8, okay? Because remember, it's on the axis, meaning we can't shift left or right on the x-axis. So that's why x has to be 0. So then with that information, what would my slope-intercept form equation of the line be? Y equals what?
-8x.
This is your intercept. What's my slope?
-3x. -8.
Yep. So you have to find this other stuff in order to be able to find your line, but ultimately the answer that I'm looking for is your equation of the line. All right, 26. 2, -4, and 0, -4. So my equation for slope, what do I plug in?
-4.
Yep, minus -4, so that's going to become positive. Over.
0.
Yep. So -4 plus 4 is 0, divided by -2, which is 0. And then what is my y-intercept going to be? Which point am I using?
1. Oh,
Which one?
-4. y2.
Okay, yeah, I'm using this one because this is where x is 0. So my y-intercept is going to be -4. So my equation of the line would be what? Y equals
0. 0.
Don't forget the x.
Oh, 0x.
Minus 4, or, and I'm okay if you leave it like that, y equals negative 4. Since 0 times x would be 0, it goes away. So either of these would be fine for that. All right, now number 28, I'm going to modify the problem just because it has decimals, and I'm not going to give you decimals. So I'm just going to modify it from what it is in the book. So 0, 5, and 2, 1. So how do I find slope?
One minus 5, and then 2 minus 0.
Yep. So 1 minus 5, negative 4, over 2 minus 0 is 2. So that's going to reduce to negative 2. And then what's my y-intercept?
5.
Yep, 5. So I get it because this one is x is 0. So then my equation for my line would be what?
Negative 2x minus 5.
Plus 5.
Or,
So remember, the general form is y equals mx plus b. The only reason the other ones have all been negative was because this number was negative. So whatever the sign of your y-intercept is the sign that goes there. Any questions about those ones? Pretty simple. So the next ones are basically the same thing. It just takes it a step farther. So this is where we're going to be using this form here that I wrote. So it's going to give you an f of x is equal to y. So we're going to basically write our points down, and then it's going to look the same as the problems we just did. So that's just the one added step, is that we have to write our own points down. So number 30, f of 0 equals 2, and f of 2 is equal to 4. So the important thing to remember is that whatever is inside the parentheses that's touching the f is our x value, and then the equal to is the y value. So this point here would be the point 0, 2. So this is where the stuff kind of from 4.7 comes in, because that's why when y'all would solve to graph, you would write the points down, or well, sometimes we would write the points down, but we'd write the points down so that you could graph the points. That's kind of basically what we're doing here. And then the second one, it would be 2, 4. So now it looks just like these problems that I was just doing. So I need to find slope first. So m is equal to what?
4 minus 2. And then 2 minus 0.
Yep. So 4 minus 2 is 2, over 2 minus 0 is 2, which reduces to 1. And then my y-intercept would be what?
1 of x. Oh, wait, 2.
2, yep. So it's still going to be the one where there's a 0. I'm trying to make sure that they all have. Yeah, all of them are going to have one that's a 0. Every once in a while there's not one, but they all have a 0. So my equation of my line would be what? Y equals,
1x plus 2.
yep, 1x plus 2. Let's see. Let's do 32. F of 0 is equal to negative 2, and f of 4 is equal to negative 3. So what are my 2 points that I get from this?
0,
Mm-hmm.
and 4, -3.
Yep. So then I need to find slope. So what is that going to be? Yep, negative 3 minus negative 2, which is going to become plus, over 4 minus 0. So negative 3 plus 2 is going to be negative 1, over 4 minus 0 is 4. So I have a slope of negative 1/4, and then my y-intercept is what? Negative 2. So my equation of the line is Yep. All right, I'm going to have y'all try the next one on your own. Seems like you're getting it, so I just want to make sure. And then we'll go over it. So f of negative 2 is equal to 6, and f of 0 is equal to negative 4. So take a minute and try that one, and then we'll go over it. All right, so what points did we start with?
Negative 2, 6, and 0, negative 4.
Okay. And then slope, what did we get?
M equals negative 4 plus 6 over 0 minus 4. Oh, wait. Is it minus 6?
Yep, over 0 minus negative 2, which is going to be plus. So that should be negative 10 over 2, which is negative 5. And then what do you have for your y-intercept?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. So your equation of your line was?
Y equals negative 5x minus 4.
Yep. All right, let's do one more, and then I'll give you some to do, and then we'll, like I said, we'll look at the ones with the actual graphs tomorrow, and how to find those. So 36, f of 4 is equal to 13, and f of 0 is equal to 21. So try that one again on your own, and then we'll go over it. All right, what do we get for our points?
4, 13, 24.
Okay. And then our slope,
21,
which ended up giving us what? 8 over -4, right? And -2. And then our y-intercept.
21.
So then your equation of the line was, looks great. Any questions about those? Sweet. All right, so then I would like you to do 3, 5, 7, 25, 29, 31, 33, and 37.